But I'm just being a realist, and people have gone through great hardships throughout all of recorded history, and we just are at a point in history where we're going to as well. And it doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. It's a big change. It's really more than an ideology change into another well-known political ideology. It's really a new one. It's technocracy. It's really an AI-based, algorithm-driven system based upon big data. That's what it really is. China's the perfect living example. It's the case study. China's the case study for facial recognition, no cash, use your phone or your face as the identifier, and it just automatically debits out of your digital account. That's what happens. I think it's 400 million that have that system in place right now in China. And the population of the United States, I think, is somewhere around 350 million. So basically, the amount of Chinese that are on this cashless, digitized, facial recognition, debit system is greater than the population of the United States right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess given everything we were talking about, how does that play into people who are looking into getting into precious metals in terms of, obviously there's always been some kind of, manipulation and suppression of prices, in particular with futures markets and such. If that kind of plan comes to fruition towards, one world digital currency system, how would that, what would they try to do in terms of, like you were saying, trying to create legitimacy for that?
Yeah, well, it's a really tough question, because anyone that says they know the answer really doesn't. And so I'll state that as an editorial comment before I speak. But you got to look at what they do, not what they say. So half of the world's gold is held by the central banks. And the amount of gold that the central banks had was actually being sold off until the first financial crisis of 2008. From 2008 to present day, central banks have been net buyers of gold year over year over year, and it's accelerated. So they watch what they do, they're buying gold. They're buying gold for a reason. And the reason that everyone knows has studied monetary history for more than a half an hour is that gold is the last man standing. It's money. It's been money for 5,500 years, and it will remain so. So whether they plan to use it in the system or not remains to be determined. And I just quoted what Mark Carney said. That's what they want. But as I also said earlier, they've got gold as a backup. And there could be a bifurcation. I mean, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa could say, no lo contendo. We're not playing your game. We're going with gold. So, I'm not saying this will happen, but I have to think outside the box. I pretty much always have. So they may say, we're not going for the globo. We're going with gold-based digitized currency as an example. So we don't know. So gold, I think, plays an important role. Silver, on the other hand, is the key to the kingdom. I mean, there's nothing more important than silver for a technological world. It's just that I can't get enough people to understand that, because if they really understood it, you would realize that silver is absolutely essential. It's a must-have. It's an impossibility to function today without it. And if people realize the true value is well beyond the monetary aspect, it's technological and monetary, they would run to silver. And once that took place, the banks would be in a world of hurt because they don't own any silver. So if the people grabbed a hold of the physical, so what would happen with the suppression, the manipulation, the futures markets, derivatives that have maintained the price for so long, they'd blow up. Because if enough people came in and actually took, 2 coins, if everyone in America bought 2 silver coins for the next 2 years, it'd wipe out the silver supply in total. And that's not that much silver, 350 million people buying 2 coins, 700 million coins for the next 2 years, 1.4 billion ounces of silver. That's nothing in the financial world. I mean, it's pathetically small. Think about it. Today's price, I'll round it up to 20. So 2 coins is $40, 4 coins is $80. I mean, most people on welfare could afford $80 over a 2-year time frame. So the power is actually with the people. They just don't understand what the money power is, how it's manipulated, how it's controlled, and actually how easy it would be to basically turn over the wheelbarrow, because they are addicted to their real estate investments, their stock investments, the derivatives markets, the ETFs, and everything that they've been programmed to believe, which simply isn't true in many instances.
Yeah.